For my oral history project, I interviewed Ben Power Alwin, the founder and director of the Sexual Minorities Archives, also known as the SMA, located in Holyoke, Massachusetts. My goal was to examine the ways in which activism is an inherent part of queer community archives. Ben was the perfect person to talk to since he has been a lifelong activist and archivist who has devoted his life to growing and protecting the SMA, which is also where he lives. Listening to him tell his story and how his experiences growing up as a trans person tied together many of the questions and enabled me to see how deeply personal the idea of libraries and archives are, not just as resources, but safe places also. This informs the kind of work that he has dedicated his life to, and you can really hear how he has provided the kind of space that he may have been seeking in the past for queer people of all ages today. We also discussed the impact that COVID or the coronavirus has had on the archives and their programming, as well as his hopes for the future of the SMA. In the following excerpt, Ben tells the story of his beginnings in libraries.
And I would go there, and I'd be like 9, 10, 11. And I would say to the librarian, can I hang out here? And I'll read, and so I would read all the books there, one just on the shelves, mostly fiction. And I, started with the young adult books, and I read them one at a time. And I got through the young adult books by the time I was maybe 12. I mean, literally, I would spend 3 hours there, 4 hours. There was a way not to be in the house. And by the time I got done with the young adult books, I said to her, can I read the adult books now? Can I start on them? And she said, well, I can't let you take them out because you're too young, but I'll let you read them here. So that library was an escape. And what I was doing there was I was essentially reading the fiction to see if I could find any character like myself. Like, the protagonist. And I couldn't. I mean, I found some close characters. They're boys that liked horses or whatever. I do remember Madeleine L'Engle's A Wrinkle in Time. That became my favorite book of my young life because there was gender transforming in there. So in addition to those books at the library, public library, I had an uncle that lived with us in the attic. He was one of my brothers, one of my father's brothers. This was like extended family. That was often, we had a very small house. I think it was 1,000 feet, if not smaller. 5 kids and then 2 parents. My uncle, and for a while, my mother's grandmother. It's very crowded in that place, which is, also why I escaped. But my uncle who lived in the attic, my Uncle Kaz was a recovering alcoholic. And my mother took him in because of that. And he had like one room, a bedroom, and then he had a sitting room outside with a rocking chair. And I would go up there because he was the only voice of sanity in the house at times. He didn't get into fights with them. He protected me if they were blaming me or fighting me over me. And he was surrounded by books in his bedroom.
Oh.
He had every Agatha Christie novel ever written. Mm-hmm. And he also read Alfred Hitchcock novels. There I had my first template of literally living, being surrounded by books.
So fast forward to his late teens and early college years. Ben had been institutionalized after coming out as transgender to his family. After he was released, he made an appointment with a lesbian therapist who said that he did not need to be in therapy and that he was a lesbian, and then connected him to the Lesbian Feminist Center in Chicago nearby. Within the center, he started a support group which was his beginnings in his anti-psychiatry activism. Also within the center was the new Alexandria Lesbian Library. After he had been involved with the center for a while, he was told that the library was closing, and if he did not take the materials, they would be thrown away. This set the stage for his lifelong journey of being the director and curator of the SMA. Ben's way of sharing his past and connecting it to his work was really insightful. I did not expect to see how archives and access to literature was so influential at a young age. Hearing about his background was really powerful and is a testament to the value that a space like the SMA can be for people searching for stories and for communities that reflect their experiences and identities. Learning from him opened my mind to what activism in an archive can look like, and it became apparent that activism doesn't always have to look like participating in large actions. It can also look like the archive being used as a space to host support groups, or for people to just use as a cozy place to be, where they can make a tea in the kitchen and spend a day browsing or watching films. His activism is also his choice to wake up every day and be in a space that exists to preserve and share queer histories. The everyday actions, both big and small, are what led him to creating a space where people can feel safe and be in a home where they can learn about themselves and their history. My oral history with Ben ends with the question, what is something that you wished other interviewers have asked, or something that you haven't but wished you have said on record?
I feel that the oppression of LGBTQ people, and especially trans people of color, is so great still. After me living for 70 years, in all my work, it's still so great. I would just urge every LGBTQ person to find a purpose for their life, to find a purpose that helps either their own LGBTQ people in some way, and to continue to do it. Find out what you can do, what's really important for you to do to help. It's got to be very personal. Or do I have the energy to also fight the oppression of others who I feel real close to as an ally? And then do it, but make a commitment. When I was 27 and the center was closing, and the founding archivist said to me that if I didn't take it, it would be thrown out in the alley. I knew in that instant that I was going to take it, and that was why I was born.